Jesus, look at all these barrels.
Stop! That's jet fuel! Everyone out now! Retreat! Get out!
We need a full neighborhood evacuation immediately!
Hundreds of blue plastic drums sat exposed inside an abandoned house after a tornado ripped its entire ceiling clean off. They were stacked floor to ceiling across the upper level, packed so tightly together that not a single inch of space was wasted. When firefighters arrived and pried open the first lid, every man on that crew turned pale. The captain immediately grabbed his radio and called for police backup. But what was inside those drums? And how did they end up hidden in a house nobody had entered in years? And why did the fire captain order an entire neighborhood to evacuate the moment he smelled what was inside? Make sure to subscribe so that you won't miss any new stories. Jim Owens had lived on Ridgemont Lane for over 20 years. He knew every house, every fence, every cracked sidewalk on that street. The abandoned property next door at number 34 had been empty for as long as he could remember. The previous owner had passed away sometime in the late 90s, and the place had just sat there collecting dust and decay ever since. Nobody visited, nobody maintained it. The city had tagged it for demolition twice, but the paperwork never seemed to go anywhere. Jim never paid the house much attention. It was just another eyesore in a neighborhood full of them. But that all changed on the morning of April 14th. The tornado had come through overnight. It was not a direct hit, more of a glancing blow that tore through the eastern edge of town. Jim's own property had survived with just a few missing shingles and a toppled mailbox. He considered himself lucky. But when he stepped outside that morning to survey the damage, his eyes immediately locked onto number 34. The entire roof was gone, not partially collapsed, not sagging, gone. It looked like a giant hand had reached down and peeled it away like the lid of a tin can. And what Jim saw inside that exposed upper level made him stop in his tracks. Blue drums, dozens of them, maybe hundreds. Industrial-sized barrels packed into the upper floor of a house that was supposed to be empty. Jim squinted, trying to make sense of what he was seeing. The barrels were arranged in tight rows, almost military in their precision. This was not random storage. Someone had placed them there deliberately, carefully, and recently enough that they had not deteriorated like the rest of the house. Jim grabbed his phone and dialed 911. His hands were not exactly steady. He told the dispatcher that something strange had been exposed by the storm at the abandoned property next door. He tried to describe what he was seeing, but even as he said the words out loud, they sounded absurd. Hundreds of barrels inside a house that was supposed to be empty. The dispatcher asked him to repeat himself. He did. She paused, then told him she would send someone out. The call was initially routed as a standard post-storm damage report. The dispatcher told Jim that crews were stretched thin across the county and that someone would get to him when they could.